So one thing I found interesting was the fact that a chorus was included at pretty much the end of every scene, either summarizing kind of what happened or giving almost the reaction that the audience should have. And I thought this was particularly interesting because I feel like you usually only see a chorus in musicals where they're almost serving as background and singing. Again, we didn't watch this play in person, so we don't know whether the chorus is actually singing or if they're just chanting the lines. However, if they are actually singing, it just goes to show that a play can include so much more than acting, even like singing and dancing, and how so many elements are so important. So, two of the main characters were Pentheus and Bacchus, and they both had very different values. And for Pentheus, those were pretty much power and control. And this was a lot through renouncing Bacchus and banning his worship in Thebes. And also, he spent almost the entire play trying to hold Bacchus captive. And this just goes to show that he wants power and he believes that Bacchus is a threat to this power, so he has to exterminate it. Versus Bacchus wants revenge, and that's really why he returns to Thebes in the first place, which he eventually gets it through interactions with Pentheus, and he strikes back even harder when Pentheus tries to punish him, so much so that in the end it leads to Pentheus's death. So he does get his revenge, and Thebes returns to a state in which they can worship Dionysus. So there were a few words and references that were a little bit confusing, and one was the word thrysis, which after some research I found out was a spear that was almost decorated with a pine cone, and it was very specific to Bacchus's followers. So this really just put into perspective how seriously people took worshiping of the Greek gods, which I did do some readings of Greek mythology in high school, and it just seemed like people maybe wrote books about them and made stories, but no, people actually worship them like they would in like an actual religion, and it almost seemed cult-like. So I thought that really put that into perspective, and now I have more knowledge about that, which is really cool. So his Bacchus's followers were known as Maenads, and Pentheus did not like the Maenads. He almost saw them as just as bad as Bacchus, criminal, almost delusional, how Bacchus had driven them mad. And again, this threatens Pentheus's power because usually women in ancient Greek life had some sort of standard they had to follow, and this broke the standard. Worshiping Bacchus allowed them to almost break these laws, which Pentheus did not like. So Elvis is on the cover because he serves as almost a modern day Dionysus. A lot of his followers were women who almost worshipped him, and hence they served as almost a Bacchae. So I thought that was pretty interesting to see. And I just did have a couple of questions. So why do you think a chorus was included? What do you think was its purpose? And why do you think Pentheus banned worshiping Dionysus if his processors didn't? So I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on